Hey. So, I'm back again. Sorry if you can hear humming in the background. My fridge just constantly makes noise. Alright, so yesterday I finished the first video and I uploaded it, and my friends are great because I have the best friends ever, and they're like, oh my god, when is part 2 coming out? Even though I said I was probably going to take a break, just the positive reinforcement, my brain was like, let's dive even deeper into this. So I did a lot of research yesterday, and kind of figured out a couple of things where it might have gone wrong. I'm having brain zaps today because I forgot to take my medications yesterday because I was sick from my vaccines. So my brain's not working great today. But also, don't get too excited at how often I release videos. I have ADHD plus minus autism, very likely. And I just kind of get into cycles of, like, you know, hyperfocus, things like that. And I find that with my crafts, I do the exact same thing. I think a lot of, this is totally an aside. I think a lot of ADHD people, like ADHD is what we're calling them, calling us, are told that when they don't finish their crafts that's something wrong. I find that when I don't give myself pressure to get my crafts done, I eventually go back. I do want to get them done, just sometimes that like initial like, I have to get this done right now is just, it's temporary, and it's just like anything else. It's a cycle. So there may be times where I upload very frequently, and there may be times where I don't upload for a very long time. But anyway, I think that's my long aside in the beginning. So this is technically the start to part 2, even though it is a continuation of part 1, because I kind of just wanted to be done. I was frustrated and I wanted to be done. So New Leaf part 2, it's my channel, I can do whatever I want. So 1, all the information is saying that you do need true gold leaf because of the thinness that's cut at, or the thickness, I should say. So anyway, yeah, I did some research, and that was one of the main things, but I was like, I do not accept that answer. Another thing is that the solution, the wash I kept talking about, it's called size. I knew that, I just kept forgetting. And I did a lot of research, and a lot of people's other sizes were a lot thicker than mine, which is interesting, because agar is not a one-to-one replacement for gelatin. Agar is much stronger, but like less gummy, so that could be a thing. That could be a permanent speed bump, just like the size of the leaf. But I'm not giving up yet. I did decide, because I'm the worst, I decided to order proper glass cleaner. Part of the problem is it's dry and all bumpy. It's not even gloopy like the past ones where the agar would like settle underneath. It's just, it looks like mineral deposits, which, you know, very accurate, because what I would do is I would clean it with sink water, with Dawn dish soap a bunch of times, and just let it dry. And then sometimes wipe it off with a little bit of distilled water. So, you know, not foolproof by any means. So I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna dive into this, I should probably do it right. Do it right. And then I also got a true Gilder's tip, which is basically a little brush that you use to pick up the gold leaf. I'm not sure if it'll work on the aluminum. It was like $13, so I was like, I think it's worth it, because controlling the gold is very important. One note is that I think it has animal fur. I think that was an error on my part. I avoided trying to get a Gilder's tip because a lot of times they contain animal fur, and usually like a leather handle or a suede handle. I don't really know my animal hides that well, to be honest. But I am pretty sure it is going to have some sort of animal fur, which is an error on my part. You know, that's something I do try to avoid, but also it appears there's a reason synthetic Gilder's tips don't exist, so this might just be an unfortunate thing. Like, you know, if you ride a motorcycle, your seat's gonna likely be made of leather. That's pretty hard to avoid. Obviously, it's easier to avoid, but you know, same kind of deal. So those are some cool things that will hopefully be coming in the near future. I was feeling a little motivated, and I was like, you know what? I am just going to be scraping this off. That's part of why I'm here today. But like, let's also play with burnishing, and let's see what works and what doesn't. Because why not? I'm just gonna scrape it off anyway. Who cares if I scratch it? So take that. So I've been doing a little bit of burnishing, and I've been using a cotton ball, so it looks like booty, but it actually looks pretty good. Like, I've been doing a little bit right here, and it looks pretty great. Obviously, it's not that perfect mirror finish. I am trying to accept that it likely will not be if I am determined to use fake gold. So it's just a matter of how good can I get it to look. So right now I'm just kind of messing around with it, and then I'm gonna scrape it off, and then I don't have the cleaner yet. It's coming sometime this week. So yeah. And I also don't have, starting tomorrow, a day off for like 2 weeks. So it's gonna be a minute. Who knows? Maybe I'll look totally different. Maybe I'll get a nose job in between then and now. But yeah. So sit back, get comfortable. Welcome to part 2. Cheers. I'm actually learning to adjust the camera when I'm going to talk versus when I'm going to be doing things, so hopefully my head will stop getting cut off right here. So I just finished burnishing. Let's take a second to acknowledge the success within the failures. Because obviously this is not great. I ripped off a lot more, that's fine, I was prepared to do that. Some things I noticed. We might be onto something here, because this is the back side, so this is even uglier than the front. So right here is the true gold leaf, and it was way more susceptible to being ripped up when I was burnishing. I don't even know if I can call it that, since I'm not doing it very well. I even tried with a couple of little spots to see if I could do it really lightly and get that really nice mirror finish. I still couldn't. I think it's because the glass isn't cleaned. The fake gold leaf, this is the back again, it held up pretty well. I mean, obviously I ripped off a lot here and here, you know, whatever. But it's kind of, like, this is the front now, so it's kind of buffing out kind of nicely right here. There's still tons of creases and stuff, but at the same time, I'm like, I could be okay with that. Those little creases I could work with. I could learn to accept that, since I'm not going to use true glass, and I mean, I'm not going to use true gold. I'm not. It's too expensive. I'm not. This isn't a perfect science. This is all experimentation. So I am okay with what I learned from this. And I felt like I know I called this a fail. This was not a fail. I learned a lot because I took the time to practice my burnishing a little bit. Because I'll be real sad if I somehow figure out a way to nail this and then I mess it up when I'm burnishing it. So I'm pretty happy with this. And it is, like, it's kind of like, I can touch it. It's pretty strong. It's on there. It's just a matter of, if there was a bubble and it didn't lay down enough, it'll peel it up. But I noticed in my research that a lot of times they made sure there was no pieces sticking up. The lay doesn't have to be perfect, but there can't be any sort of like little guys sticking up like that, because it'll peel it off. But those little creases did come out with professional reverse glass gilders, so that's something that I'm not sure if I will ever be able to achieve with the quality of materials and the type of materials I'm using. But I'm very much okay with what I learned from this. I feel like, well, it's not a true success, it's not a failure either, but my one question is, I'm using the actual fancy cleaner next time, is how the heck I'm going to paint everything on. So that's a problem for future me. So I'm gonna go into time-lapse mode again, and I'm just gonna scrape this off, and then I'm gonna be done until I can get my cleaner and everything. And this is like covered in like fingerprints. It's even got like crumbs on it from my counter. I'm ready to call this done. Call this done? Be done? I don't know. Move on to the next phase. Move on to attempt number 6.